Good morning, champions. Coach Tina here. And oh my gosh, you guys, it is the last week of April 2026. Finding it hard to believe that we are 4 months done with the year. Wow. So we are starting a new series today, and it is called Take a Breath because we all need to, right? And in fact, I worked out this morning. And if you haven't heard yet, I am doing, ever since UPW, I have been doing the, what do you call it? Billy Beck's the Third's 30-day challenge. Now, it's been more than 30 days because Africa got in the way. But what has happened is we are doing the daily work. It's something that happened when I went to finance. Billy Beck was on the stage and he was talking about his program, and he said something that stuck. I'm almost 60, you guys. I didn't think there was much left to stick, right? But what he said was, when he has his people work out, it's with the end result in mind. Like the whole time you're not saying, I hate working out, which, surprise, that's what I have been doing my whole life. What he says is how wonderful it is that I'm working out, and this is giving me the future that I want. And it has helped me so much to just go into like a positive rant about how much energy I'm going to have and how I'm going to feel better and how I'm going to be stronger. And it has been so outrageously good. So I did it every day for 19 days before I went to Africa. I got back and it was hard. I was tired. There was a shift in the routine. And I'm not going to lie, last week was rough. I was fighting the resistance. And I read something that just, again, from somebody else, I got good mentors, you guys. But he talked about identity and about how, like, why people set goals and then don't achieve them. And this time it stuck. It stuck that what was happening was people, even if they'd done like 3 years and then suddenly they went back to their old way, it's because they weren't working with an identity that said, this is who I am now. And so I realized that even though I was doing it every day and I was buying into this is great for me, I wasn't feeling it at the level of, I am now someone who appreciates and enjoys working out. And that's why I was struggling. That's why it was hard to do, because it wasn't part of me. It didn't meet my criteria for what I see myself doing in the future. And the reality is, if I'm going to live to 120, if I'm going to live to make all this work, then it needs to be totally different. Much, much different. So today we start a new series, even though our graphic doesn't reflect it. My VA made it for me. I downloaded it, and apparently I grabbed the wrong file. So WOW was last month. And if you haven't watched the wild, open, and worthy videos that we made, go back, watch them. That's why we have replays. I have a whole YouTube channel just of past things for us to watch. But today we are starting Take a Breath, and we're doing it because life gets crazy, right? As I was saying, I was doing my workout this morning, and you had to crank, you had to do some stuff. And I was tired, you guys. My heart was beating. I could not keep functioning. I had to stop and catch my breath. I had to take a breath. And I know we've all been at that place before. And I had it physically with my workout today, but it happens in life as well. And we might even feel that as we end April, as we start seeing that, oh my gosh, we're almost to the crest of the year. And we all know that it goes faster when you get to the top and go down. So when we hit June, yeah, we got to keep this up. This is the thing about life, is it keeps going, and you're the variable. You're the one that has to accelerate or slow down or do what you need to do. And if you have not done the things that are going to get you what your goals are, then it's just like Groundhog Day. You just see it over and over again, and you just want to explode because it's not what you want. So Well, it's part of our Rewrite the Script series this year, because what's happened in the past is the past, and we're just going to let it go. Otherwise, we're going to pass out. And maybe it's just a saying, but it might look like you just give up or you don't try at all. And you're just like, oh, yeah, another year. Life goes so fast. Everything sucks. And you just lean into that. And boy, I want to save you from that. So if you know me at all, and if you don't know me, I am Coach Tina, and I am the founder of the Empowering Champions community. This is a safe place for women just like you with big dreams, big desires in their heart. You know that, that you're going to make a difference in the world. And yet you have no clue how to get started, how that's going to happen. You've tried stuff, it maybe hasn't worked, and you're not giving up, but it does get deflating after a while, right? So that's why I'm here. I created this community so that we could see each other, encourage each other, and watch each other soar. Because we're all at different levels. We're all doing different things. You might be in the stage of learning what your greatness is. You might be in the stage of growing that greatness, or you might be in the stage of sharing that greatness. And guess what? You're all over the place in life in all the different areas. Maybe you have it going on in your finances, but not so much in your relationships. Maybe your fitness is stellar, but your business sucks, right? So what you want to do is you just want to be aware of all of the F's, the key areas of life, and where you are, and know what that gap is from where you are and where you want to be, and figure out what you're going to do to close the gap. That's why I'm here. So couple of things to tell you, some fun things, some exciting news. But we're going to cover 3 things today that hopefully will pause the pressure and allow you to decompress a little bit, even though it's the end of the month, because we all are familiar with like when that machine builds up too much steam and it starts to shake and quiver. And, like if you even think of a teapot, right? There's a buildup, it starts moving, it starts going. And then if nothing were to happen, it would explode. But what happens is that valve opens up and the steam gets released and it screams, which we all need to be doing, but it allows things to slow down and you can take another breath. And that's what I think is so important, because pausing and taking a breath, it's not about giving up. It's not about deciding to do less. It's about slowing down so you can get a clear vision of what it is you want to do. And from that place, move forward. So let's talk about the fun thing. The fun thing I wanted to tell you is I am now a game show star. Isn't that crazy? I had some friends that do a weekly podcast that's staged as a game show, and everybody shows up. 2 people get selected to be the main players, and they play something called conflict resolution. And I was the key player. I got to start it. I have a partner that you act as if there's a conflict. They give you a scenario, and then you get graded on how you did. Everybody in the room gives you a score, and then they switch to the people that were running it, telling you the key ways to do conflict resolution. And then you do it again. So I got a combination of 8s and 9s on my very first shot, which made my coaching head fluff up. Let's just know other way to say that. Let's just say, ooh, I am a coach and I do know a few things. So that was exciting. They said they had never given that high of a score before. So that was fun. And then we did the second round and I knocked it out of the park. I got almost 10s by everybody and a 10.5 by one person. So how fun is that? And why did I tell you that? Because sometimes when that pressure builds up, you got to look for ways to have fun. It can't all be serious, hard, annoying, frustrating. That's what makes everything crazy in your life. You have to have rewards, you have to have fun outlets. And so this week, as you go through things, whatever it is that's happening to you in the month of April, take that breath and look for the fun as well. Look for ways to make you laugh. Look for the joy in all of it, the gratitude, of course. Because when you can identify what is weighing you down, this is my number one point today, that will help to pause the pressure. Okay. Awareness has always been one of my key principles for coaching. When you can see it, you can do something about it. It's when you can't even notice what is happening, when you keep walking into the wall and going, what is happening, that you struggle. But when you see the wall in front of you, you were then able to make different choices. You were then able to go to the left, to the right, under, over, walk back the way you came, whatever it is. And unless you see it, you don't know what to do. If the wall is invisible and you just keep banging into it and you're like, this doesn't make any sense, I don't see anything there, I keep walking into the wall and I can't go forward, what is it? It's similar to the monkey trap. Anybody familiar with the monkey trap? This is the concept that a monkey, they would trap them in the forests by making these little traps, little cages, and all it had was like a little hole about this big in it. Well, you might think, how does a monkey fit in that trap? That doesn't make any sense. Well, they would put a nut inside of the trap. Now, the hole was big enough for the monkey's hand to get in, but when the monkey held onto the nut, it couldn't pull its hand out. Now, the monkey wanted the nut so much that it will not release his hand to get out of the trap. So you don't want to be stuck in something like that, where you're so weighed down, hence a handful of something you don't necessarily need in that situation. So you have to be willing to let it go, like everything that's bothering you, that's getting to you, that's getting under your skin, that's burying you. You got to figure out a way to let it go. Okay, so that's number one. Identify what's weighing you down. The second thing that's going to help you to pause the pressure is to overcome the mental clutter. Okay, we know this to be true. We can call it ADHD, we can call it distraction, squirrel, whatever it is. What's happening is when you're up here, like Tony Robbins likes to say, when you're in your head, you're dead. When everything is based off of your head, you are making weird decisions. Okay. You're churning, you're overanalyzing, everything is trying to play the logic game. It's when you're in your heart that you find the solutions, that you can overcome the obstacles. See, mental clutter is just another form of fear. And we put it, like, we do it to ourselves. We allow it. It's worry, it's stress, it's overwhelm. And it's really just fear trying to show up and take care of us like it's always done. So it's just doing its job. But we have to grow up, put our big girl panties on and be like, no, 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 that's not how I'm going to run my life. I understand that you're upset, but we're going to do something different. It's funny. I even say this and I think of my little dog. So the dog is almost a year now. And she freaks out when like someone comes to the door. She's like having a conniption fit. And I happen to know that it's not that big of a deal when someone comes to the door. They're not going to attack us. They're not going to, barge through the door. And so she doesn't know that yet. It's all fear-based. It's all a warning. That's her job right now. But I've noticed that other things, like she used to be that way when she heard a noise in the house. Now she'll go investigate, right? The fear, because she's gotten used to it, isn't so strong. Now, is she using her heart versus her head? I don't know. She's a dog, right? I'm asking you to use your heart versus your head because you know the difference. Whenever you start to get in your head, there's going to be overwhelm and stress. All I'm asking you to do is, when you notice it, take that breath. There's been so many times in my life when I remember to take the breath, that changes everything. and ask your heart what's important in this second, in this millisecond, and it will shift you and it will help you to get out of the place that you're in, and it will alleviate that pressure. Third thing, so important to remember that not everything is an emergency. It's so easy to get caught up in this, just like the news. The news is so glum and depressing. And if you just sat and watched the news, you would want to go to sleep forever because it's so abrasive, so much going on, so much. It's like being in your head, but it's an outward sign of the chaos. What you have to remember is you're in control of your emotion in the situation. So there might truly be an emergency. Remember how, like, when your kids were little, you might say something like they would be worried about everything. Case in point, like what we just talked about earlier. And you would say, don't notify me unless there's blood, right? If you don't see blood, sure, it might be an emergency, but it's not critical. So everything can't be critical. You have to have a system that parses things out. That's why they do the oxygen mask on the airplanes, right? We know enough to know now that the whole reason that happens is someone's got to be in control. Someone's got to take charge. So if you're sitting there and you have a child next to you, they don't even let you do two children on the sides now. I think it has to be one, maybe it is two. You can't have more than three. So when those airbags come down, you know, the kids wouldn't be able to reach them. You'd be stressed out trying to help them. And then you pass out and they don't get their masks on. No, someone has to be in control. So you put the mask on. Guess what's going to happen when you put the mask on? You're instantly going to take a breath, right? Because there's airflow coming in. You take that. Now you've had a pause, even if it's a millisecond. You can take care of something else. You can take care of the child. You can take care of this child, whatever it is. So it's the end of the month, you guys. There's a lot of stuff going on for all of us. I get it. But what are you doing that centers you? What are you doing that takes you away from the chaos, the mess, the stress? Even if it's as simple as separating yourself and looking at it like a casual observer. You know, like when you're at the grocery store and someone's kid is acting up, but it's not your kid. So you're like, well, I'm glad I'm not them. But you don't get emotionally involved and stressed out, and you just see it for what it is. If you can do that in your life, you are eons ahead of anybody else. So today I worked on my 90-day plan, what I'm going to do in the months of May, June, and July, the next 90 days. And I'm pretty excited about my future. I don't know about you. If you are as well, I recommend, I've got two tools that I am loving right now. The first is I have a manifesto maker. It's a 90-day manifesto. It's an AI. You don't even interact with me. You just put all of your information into it, what you're wanting over the next 90 days. It creates a short statement for you to read every morning and every evening. Life-changing. It will help you to manifest the things that you really, truly want in life. And because you're turning on your reticular activating system, the good way to access your brain, then it's telling your brain, this is what I want to have in my life. And then your mind will open up and start to look for those opportunities. And speaking of opportunities, the other tool that I have that has been just life-changing for me is Breathwork. So this is a tool I wasn't expecting to be adding into my toolbox. I thought Breathwork, you know, hey, I breathe every day. I've been doing it for a long time now. I'm good. However, this Breathwork has been incredible, and I highly, highly, highly recommend it. I have so many people that are telling me they cannot believe how much it is working for them. So I want to share it with as many of you as possible. It is something I'm doing weekly now, unless there's a Tony event that's keeping me back or I'm traveling. I'm doing a Tuesday morning. It's pretty early. It's 8 a.m. Eastern. I'm doing a every other Saturday and a Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern. So If you want to do it in the morning, I've got a solution. If you want to do it in the evening, I've got a solution. And if you want to do it on a Saturday, I have a solution. It isn't I don't do them 3 times a week. I do one a week. So it's either a Tuesday, a Saturday, or a Thursday. And then I do have a big event that I do at least once a month. So if you have an organization or somebody that you're part of a group that you think would like breathwork, reach out to me, let me know, or put in the comments right now, group, and we will get with you and find out if doing a Zoom breath work with you would be appropriate, because I I have seen myself doing this with thousands of people. So I know I'm meant to make a big impact for thousands of people, and you might be one of them. So if you want to come to this week's breathwork, it is Tuesday morning, which is tomorrow at 8 a.m. Love to have you come. If you would like to be in there, you can go to allinbreathwork.com/sign up, and you can get scheduled and everything for the upcoming class. If you just want us to do it for you or reach out to you with more information, put breathwork into the comments. We're happy to have you join us, because it's so beneficial, you guys. And talk about taking a breath. You're going to take a bunch of them, and it is going to change your life. I know you want that. I know you need that. And I'm here to help you with that. So let's go. All right. Have a really blessed day and a great end of April. I'll see you guys next week. We'll still be in the Take a Breath series, but it'll be May. Wow.